Hey, morning. Welcome to podcast radio and stuff on a beautiful Saturday morning. Here in Durban, the weather is much better than yesterday. We have experienced some weather that was not so good. I know, when it comes to Lendoya weather, sihlezi sihlukene ngembono because for us who are living in the city, rain is not so good. But for people who are doing farming, rain is good. So, there's always those clash when it comes to opinion, when it comes to weather. Good morning, welcome. Thank you so much for taking time to watch this video this morning. First of all, we call this segment The Week That Was. This is when we check all the stories that interested us throughout the week. There are always a lot, and we cannot talk about all of them. But there are those asuke interested, either myself, noma uNtobeko Khuluse. So we sit down and we just talk about them. And we also are happy when you also comment. So don't forget to comment as you watch. But most importantly, I'd like you to subscribe, because subscribing is absolutely free. So please do subscribe, and also do like this video, and also share the video. We also do encourage you to become a member of this podcast. Becoming a member means you will contribute R9.99 per month for being a member. That will assist us to keep this podcast going. That's what it would do. So it's podcast radio and stuff. Igama lami nguNtokozo Tshapa. Now, let's start with the latest and the freshest. Last night, as soccer lovers, we were glued to our TV screens watching the semi-finals, the second leg of the semi-finals, CAF Champions League, Yala Africa. And we had two South African teams who were clashing with two Egyptian teams. We had Orlando Pirates clashing with the Pyramids, and that was a later game. And earlier on, we had Mamelodi Sundowns clashing with Al Ahly. So we were all hoping, including myself, that Orlando Pirates would qualify for the final and Mamelodi Sundowns qualify for the final. And then for the final, it will be two South African teams meeting. Wow, how exciting was that going to be? Two South African teams. And we knew Uguti, either one of these teams are getting a star. But it didn't happen, kanjalo. Orlando Pirates didn't make it through to the final because of the 3-2 score that that happened yesterday. Iwinile Pyramids, and of course Orlando Pirates did not win. And when the first leg was in South Africa, it was a draw, and it was a goalless draw. Okwenze lokho ke ukuthi iqhubekele phambili iPyramids iyodlala kwi-final. But congratulations to Mamelodi Sundowns for making it to the final. Okay, so Sundowns is through to the finals, and Sundowns will be playing with the Pyramids in the final. We're looking forward to that one, boys. You're coming back with another star. Is this another star for Mamelodi Sundowns? We're looking forward to that. It was a 1-1 draw, and of course on the away goal rule, because Sundowns scored a goal, even though it was an own goal, scored a goal away. So that means now they qualified, because it was a draw in South Africa, but there was no goal in South Africa. So they are through to the final, Mamelodi Sundowns. I'm super happy for them. Currently in South Africa, they are one of the teams that are doing very well in our Premier Soccer League. They are doing absolutely well. We call it the Betway Premier Soccer League. And in fact, amanye team agcine support amanye team kuthiwa no, somebody must stop Sundowns. Somebody must stop Sundowns, because Sundowns just keeps on going. And there you go now. They stand a very good chance of being African champions once again. and that is Mamelodi Sundowns. What can we say? If the boys are good, the boys are good. It's their season. You know, when it's your season, it's your season. Nobody can stop you. So, as women of it, for Mamelodi Sundowns, it's their season, you know. Of course, Tinage Sabe Kaizer Chiefs, we are also excited. Remember, we are going to the finals of the Nedbank Cup in Moses Mabhida Stadium. And we are going to show Orlando Pirates who we are in that Durban Stadium, because we are going to be clashing with Orlando Pirates in Moses Mabhida Stadium. We're going to be showing them who we are. Then the next story that is in my mind. What a U-turn by the GNU, especially Minister Ntokozo. He's the Minister of Finance. Remember that we were expecting on the 1st of May, we were expecting a 0.5% increase on VAT. And it's been a clash. You know, even Omunyoma partners at GNU, Democratic Alliance, taking the matter to court. Ukuzama ukuvimba ukuthi ukuthi kube ne VAT increase. You know, a partner in the GNU went to court. You know, we saw some parties that people loved and trusted and believed that they are all for the people. Support a VAT increase. So what did this mean for us? It only meant one thing. It meant yonke into esithengayo izokhuphuka, because not yonke into esithengayo, but most of the things that we buy, because most of the things that we buy sichargwa VAT, which is value added tax, and so sichargwa 15%, and now bese so chargwa 15.5%. So it meant ubuzothi nje mawuthenga igrosa kusukela ngomhla ka-1 May, you were going to see the difference. That is what was going to happen. And all this was being done ukuthi silekelele the government coffers. Now, because of the halts or because of the cancellation of the VAT increase, it means the government is going to be losing an estimated 75 billion in revenue. Now, that is what is going to be happening. Now, the minister said he's going to be writing to Parliament ukuthi kumele kube nama adjusted expenditures to accommodate this reversal. Mina ke I'm busy thinking, because I know ukuthi le mali iyafunakala ukuthi kabe izoyoshuthelwa kuphi. Because mina I'm of the view as a layman. Remember, this is the layman's view. As a layman, ukuthi bazofuna ukubheka ukuthi kuphi enye indawo lapha bangayishutheka khona. But we are going to watch and see. Because life is tough, guys. Our salaries are not increasing, but the cost of living is increasing in an alarming way. The cost of living in South Africa, it's increasing in a way that you cannot even begin to imagine. You know, we sometimes celebrate the decrease of things like fuel price, but we know very well that we cannot go back to where fuel price was 10 years ago now. You know, we're just playing in the mark of 20 rands per liter. You know, that is where we are playing right now. And that is adding a lot of pressure. But what can we do? You know, so we're just watching those who are in leadership. And then another story that got me interested is the official visit to South Africa by the president of Ukraine, Umnumzane Zelensky. So he's in South Africa. He arrived in the early hours of the morning during the week. I think it was on Wednesday when he arrived in South Africa. And yeah, he's here on an official visit. This is his first visit to South Africa, if my memory serves me well. Yes, there has been a meeting between him and the South African president before, but he's here now on an official visit. We know that there is a clash that is going on between Russia and Ukraine, and South Africa also tries to, mediate in that particular clash. And I know that he's going to be meeting with the president, and we will get updated in terms of some of the discussions that they are having whilst he's here in South Africa. But he is in South Africa on an official visit. That is the president of Ukraine, Mr. Zelensky. I want to end with this one. We are faced with terrible weather conditions in South Africa, especially here in KZN. And I can almost tell you that climate change is real, guys. We are now entering into the winter season. The temperatures have dropped and it's colder, or it's cooler. But now we are also experiencing disruptive rains, Thursday and Friday, the rains were heavy. I saw roads that have never flooded before flooding in Durban. Many of them flooding, cars being wiped away or swept away by the water in those roads. And I saw in certain areas in Durban, people's homes being destroyed by the terrible weather that we are facing. And I must say, in Durban, we have a serious challenge of our drainage systems. That is why we see a lot of water not moving into drains. We see a lot of roads flooding in Durban. That is because our drainage system is not being maintained in Durban. And this is quite serious, especially when you are driving at night. Sometimes you cannot see water that has, created a puddle on the road because, of course, the drain is not working. So we are urging the government and the disaster management officials to work on this and ensure that all the roads that keep on flooding are cleared. The drains are cleared so that we minimize the issue of roads that are flooding. But secondly, for us now, as citizens, we need to understand the areas that we live in. If you live in a disaster-prone area, I know it's not easy, but we need to try when we see the weather is becoming bad. We need to try to visit somewhere or go somewhere until the weather subsides. It becomes painful when people die in the process of this bad weather. People die because buildings collapse on them. And I do know that sometimes you don't think that your house will collapse because you are not living in your area has never shown that it's a disaster prone area. I do understand sometimes it's hard to predict, but the best thing to do, if you know that you are living right next to the stream, I look flat like higher. If you see try to go somewhere else. I know sometimes you don't know where to go, but it's a wise thing to do. And take your important belongings such as your ID, birth certificates, and so on with you. But also, what is important for people abawela kakhulu ama-bridge lapha abahlala ngakhona is be careful before you cross a bridge. First of all, if you bridge is amanzi ngaphezulu, it's best to avoid ukuwela. And also, NgesiZulu, there's something esithi umfula uyangenisa. Sometimes when you're crossing a bridge, elihamba amanzi ngaphezulu, kodwa wena you can see ukuthi amanzi kusawayeleka kuwona. The next thing awuboni ukuthi kanti umfula uyangenisa, kuza a heavy current of water towards you, and the water can push you, the water can push the car. So if you are not well skilled or you are unable to study umfula ukuthi uyangenisa phezulu, it's best ukuthi uvele ungaweli. So I believe ukuthi uhulumeni une role ekumele ayidlale, but nathi kumele sibe ne role esidlalayo, because our safety is also our responsibility. You know, yeah, but yeah, I can tell you now with this terrible weather that we see is not about to stop. It's going to become worse. So even if you are living in a disaster-prone area, if you have a way and you have means, you know, it's good that maybe you try to move for your own safety and for the safety of your family. We are podcast radio and stuff. My name is Ntokozo Tshapa. It will be good for me to end it here. Thank you so much for watching.